Welcome to Alarm 22, Escape from Alcatraz, the game. In the box, you should have one game board, 4 escape route charts and directions, 2 dark gray dice, 4 colored playing pieces, and 4 dice that match, 4 card stands to use for your Alcatraz inmate card, 1 gray warden card, 2 blue model prisoner cards, 12 black guard cards, 24 red planning cards, 24 green escape cards, and 13 Alcatraz inmate cards. The red planning, green escape, and black guard cards are all placed on the board in numbered order with the number 1 at the top. Each player should choose a color piece and a single die of the same color. These are known as your fight and escape dice. Players start at the Warden Johnston. The boat was named after the first and longest acting warden of Alcatraz. Players roll for starting position. Highest die goes first. In a tie, roll again. The winner starts and play flows clockwise to the next player throughout all 3 phases of the game. The object of the game is to successfully escape from Alcatraz Island. The game is divided into 3 phases. Phase number 1, processing. Using the 2 gray dice, all players move their way up the hill trying to be the first to reach the main cell house. The first one chooses an Alcatraz inmate card and wins the model prisoner card. Phase 2, doing time. Begin on the green start square. During this phase, players use only the 2 dark gray dice. Follow the arrows circling through the mess hall, recreation yard, laundry, model industries, and back through the laundry to the main cell house. You are doing time and planning your escape, gathering red and green cards along the way. Phase 3, escaping from Alcatraz. During this phase, you roll only your single colored die. Use the escape route chart and choose your path based on the red and green cards you have strategically gathered. Have fun! May the toughest and smartest prisoner win. Okay, now you are in processing and you are making your way up the hill to the main cell house. This video describes the rules in a 4-player game. Watch the video about modified rules of playing with 2 or 3 players. Using the 2 gray dice, all players move their way up the hill trying to be the first to reach the main cell house. The first one chooses an Alcatraz inmate card and wins the model prisoner card. Prisoners cannot share the same space, so when 2 players land on the same square, they fight. Both players roll their colored fight die. If they tie, then roll again. The high number wins and moves forward by that amount, taking advantage of the marked space if it applies. The low number moves backwards. However, players get nothing for going backwards, regardless of the space they land on. If the fight is on a double fight corner, then the die numbers are doubled for the winner to move forward and doubled for the loser who moves backwards. If you land on trade place with any player, you must trade with another player and take their position on the hill. The first player to reach the top of the hill strategically picks an Alcatraz inmate card, gets a model prisoner card, and goes to their appropriate cell in the main cell house. The second player to reach the top of the hill strategically selects an Alcatraz inmate card and goes to their cell. The last 2 players stop rolling and go directly to the processing pick inmate and go to cell square. These 2 players each pick an Alcatraz inmate card from the remaining deck face down so they cannot see them. Once revealed, these 2 players can roll their fight die. The highest number wins and chooses from the revealed inmate cards. Inmate cards with tools represent real inmates that attempted an escape. These tools are invaluable and will help you in your escape. Once each player has their Alcatraz inmate card, you are all now prisoners. Go to your cell in the main cell house. Put the other Alcatraz inmate cards away because they are no longer needed. Set your color fight die aside until you are ready to make an escape. The second phase, doing time, is where you plan your escape. Players roll in the same order as from the Warden Johnston. The planning and escape cards are collected as players circle the prison. When a player lands on a colored arrow, they collect that card. Green is for escape cards. Red is for planning cards. Black is for guard cards. A green and red arrow space means you get to take one of each card. When you reach the back to cell space, you return to your inmate's cell and collect either a red or green card. On your next turn, you begin at the start space and continue play. You do not collect a card if you are sent to solitary. Planning and escape cards are used for making an escape. These cards are for protection from the pitfalls of the escape. You do not have to have all the cards to make an escape, but it does make an escape more likely if you hold the correct cards. Players can only hold 4 escape and 4 planning cards at any time. If you already have 4 of that card, then turn 1 card into the bottom of the deck. Players will want to consult the escape chart when deciding which cards to hold and which cards to discard. The symbols on the cards match those on the escape chart. It is recommended that players decide if they will make a daytime escape or nighttime escape and discard accordingly. Phase 3, escaping from Alcatraz. Now that you have collected all of your tools, you are ready to make an escape. Your goal: don't get caught on land, don't get killed in the water. Most of the strategy is deciding on which cards to discard. Decide if you will make a nighttime escape, daytime escape, or a ground escape based on the cards that you have gathered. You must announce your escape during your turn. Use only your single colored escape die during your escape. At the start of your escape, lay out the cards in front of you and return all unnecessary cards to the bottom of each deck. Escapes must start from the specific building or area associated with that historic escape. Ground escapes are slightly easier than the normal day escapes. They use the same cards as day escapes, however they can only be made from one of the yellow circles. To make a ground escape, a player must be holding a card that allows them to use those escapes. Those cards are a model prisoner card, which also substitutes for one of the planning cards, or the player must hold the garbage detail card. Green and red spaces require the escape or planning card for that specific space. If a player lands on a space without the card, then go to solitary, lose all cards, and lose a turn. A model prisoner card substitutes for one planning card only. At the beginning of your escape, you must declare which planning card the model prisoner card is acting as. The final leg of your escape is the most dangerous. If you do not have the corresponding escape card here, instead of going to solitary, you will die of hypothermia or a guard's bullet. That means being knocked out of the game. If another player is already escaping with good odds of success, you may want to try to escape. Even if you lack the proper cards, it is possible to escape. However, the odds decrease with less planning and escape cards. During an escape, a player can choose to skip a turn to hide from an even-numbered guard card. Do not tempt fate and roll against an even guard card. You will get busted. If you land on a black guard dot during an escape and would be captured, you may discard the warden card to avoid solitary and continue your escape. Shot, hypothermia, and shark are all spaces in the water that require a flotation or disguise card in order to be safe. Once you reach the end of your escape route, you won the game and have successfully escaped from Alcatraz prison. The rules are modified for a 2 or 3 player game. In a 3-player game, use all planning and escape cards numbered 1 through 24 in order, starting at number 1. Use all guard cards 1 through 12. Use only one model prisoner card. The first to processing gets the model prisoner card and choice of inmate card. The remaining 2 players go to processing and choose 2 random inmate cards. Then they roll their fight die and the winner chooses an inmate card of their choice, hopefully one with a tool. For a 3-player game, players may hold 5 of the planning and 5 of the escape cards. In a 2-player game, use all guard cards 1 through 12. Place them on the board in that order. Use 1 through 12 red planning cards and 1 through 12 green escape cards. Use only one model prisoner card for a 2-player game. The first player to the top of the hill gets the model prisoner card and choice of inmate card. The second player must choose an inmate card at random from the cards face down. Best of luck to you.